Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We're working on King Richard II, and today we get to hear from Mowbray in Act 1, Scene 1. So Mowbray, who's a nobleman, and Henry Bolingbroke, who is the son of John of Gaunt being King Richard's uncle, so therefore Henry Bolingbroke being King Richard's cousin. Mowbray and Bolingbroke have been brought in front of King Richard because they each say that the other one is a traitor to the crown, and they're basically going for a trial by combat as opposed to like an actual verbal trial. So they said some mean things about each other, and then Richard's like, okay, but who can tell me why they actually, like, what are these traitorous things that actually happened? And yesterday we had Bolingbroke saying, well, Mowbray stole some money from the army, and he's been the root of all of the evil things that have happened in the kingdom in the last 18 years, and he's the one that's responsible for killing Gloucester. So yeah, he's a traitor. And Mowbray responded by saying, Your Highness, I'm too much of a gentleman to respond to him in your presence. Sorry about that. And King Richard was like, no, he may be my cousin, but I'm going to look at this equally, so you are free to speak and say what you have to say. And Mowbray says, then Bolingbroke, as low as to thy heart, through the false passage of thy throat, thou liest. 3 parts of that receipt I had for Calise dispersed I to his highness soldiers. The other part reserved I by consent, for that my sovereign liege was in my debt upon remainder of a dear accompt, since last I went to France to fetch his queen. Now swallow down that lie. For Gloucester's death I slew him not, but, to my own disgrace, neglected my sworn duty in that case. For you, my noble Lord of Lancaster, the honorable father to my foe, once I did lay an ambush for your life, a trespass that doth vex my grieved soul. But ere I last received the sacrament, I did confess it, and exactly begged your grace's pardon, and I hope I had it. This is my fault. As for the rest appealed, it issues from the rancor of a villain, a recreant, and most degenerate traitor, which in myself I boldly will defend, and interchangeably hurl down my gage upon this overweening traitor's foot, to prove myself a loyal gentleman, even in the best blood chambered in his bosom. In haste whereof I most heartily pray your highness to assign our trial day. So the way that he's answering these charges is the money that he's accused of stealing, he actually gave most of it to the people that were supposed to get it, but he kept the part that was owed to him based on a past debt. He says he didn't kill Gloucester, but he also didn't protect Gloucester, which was kind of his bad. And he had previously been involved in a plot to kill Lancaster, but that didn't actually happen, and he has begged forgiveness for it. He confessed it in a church, so he thought that was all like fine and square. So he's like, yeah, no, I'm clear of all the things that he accuses me of, so he's the traitor, and please tell us when we can go to trial. And King Richard is like, yeah, nobody has to bleed today, so Gaunt, why don't you talk to Bolingbroke and I'll talk to Mowbray. So Gaunt goes over to Bolingbroke to try to get him to pick up his gage. Gages are gloves, and they would like throw down their gloves like, I challenge you to a duel, and they would throw down the glove, and if you pick up the glove, then you accept the challenge. So Gaunt is trying to get Bolingbroke to pick his glove back up again, and King Richard goes to talk to Mowbray to try to get him to pick his gage back up again. And Mowbray's whole thing is that this whole exchange has destroyed his reputation, and he doesn't have anything if he doesn't have his reputation, especially in this court at these times. And the king's like, no, it's really not that big of a deal. But neither Mowbray nor Bolingbroke wants to back down from this, because both are afraid of how they will now appear in court if either one of them gives first. So finally King Richard has to say, all right, okay, we'll set a date for the trial by combat. So they set a date for the trial of combat, and then the scene ends, and we move on tomorrow to Act 1, Scene 2. I will see you then. Mwah.